Doghouse Podcast is back. Got a huge matchup with an old friend from the show, Tennessee Tony. How you doing today?
Good, man. Glad to be back.
Yeah, man. So we'll also make sure to like, subscribe, share the Doghouse Podcast. Had some great responses last week. Well, first off, we'll go jump into Georgia. Lackluster performance against big Austin Peay. I still don't know where these guys are from. I thought it was like in Austin, Texas, but I believe it was a smaller school. I should probably know that.
Yeah, I think it's in Tennessee, isn't it?
Yeah, I should probably know that. Austin Peay. Yeah,
I think so.
But yeah. To me, first off, Georgia did struggle 28-6. I guess what everybody jumped on, of course, was the Georgia going in 5 times from the 1 was not a good look, and we ran out of time. I believe if Georgia would have gotten that score, 21-6, then we went into the weather delay, I think we would have been in better shape. But Gunnar Stockton did start out 10 for 10. We did get success running the ball, but I think it was 49 point spread, and they kind of just hung around. Not a good look, and I know Georgia's got their hands ringing. If I had to say positives, it would be the defense did look pretty good, held them 6 points, but everybody is on. Gunnar Stockton sucks. He's not a good quarterback. He's dinking and dunking. And I know some of my friends are high on the Ryan Puglisi kid who has a cannon from an arm, but Kirby's always going to go with his guy. And, of course, everybody's on the blame Mike Bobo and Stacy Searles. But if I had to say some positives is Dwight Phillips Jr., number 20, Colin Peanut, is very explosive. Nate Frazier had a fumble. London Humphreys had a fumble. And we're just dinking and dunking and no explosive plays. I don't know if that's by design, showing a vanilla game plan, but we are nervous as Georgia fans heading into Tennessee. Anyway, what's your thoughts? I didn't know if you watched that game. 2-hour rain delay. It was a long day for Georgia.
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces of it, and of course, watching the highlights and so forth. But I think it's typical Georgia. First year, I think the offense will come around. The defense is always a strong point. That's what concerns me about this weekend. But think about watching some of the clips that I saw. It looked like DBs were playing way off, giving Gunnar those those short out routes and so forth. Not throwing the deep ball much, but. That'll definitely have to change Saturday a little bit.
Yeah, and I will say, I'm always listening to Dog Nation Daily, and I'll say Aaron Murray, who we all know is former Georgia Bulldog. I think he was at like a Knoxville or Tennessee, some type of touchdown meeting. Anyway, he was very negative on Georgia, just how Gunnar Stockton is. He said, hey, he could be a good quarterback, but he's has a short release and wasn't really excited. And he said Georgia fans should be very alarmed. So I thought it was kind of interesting. I know he's kind of being more national media, but that was interesting. And I know, who's the Fox guy? Joe, no, Clark. Yeah, he was didn't talk really great. So anyway, the media is kind of down on Georgia, but we've heard this before, but I thought they were really. I don't know if that's bulletin board material, but I'm trying to listen to everything. That's kind of interesting.
No, I think that's interesting. I think what was a big point of the national media in Vegas is the line drop so much.
That's right.
I think that maybe change some perception in the national media looking at the spread and so forth. But it's really hard to say this early in the year. I mean, as far as Tennessee goes, I'm happy with how they played in the first 2 games. But again, you got to take it with a grain of salt the competition we played. Some highlights. I think Aguilera is a lot better in this offense than Joey is. So Joey's a lot better than Nico is, I should say. And he's not scared to throw the ball, downfield. And has a better accuracy on it. I know the first pass he threw against Syracuse that we threw a touchdown, and I think it was to was it Brazil who caught that? But it was right over the middle. They were playing cover 2. Once that safety bit, he ran a post route and he threw it right over the cornerback's head. So you just didn't see that. With Nico a lot. It would be 5 yards. When he put it in the air, I was just sitting there watching the ball going, it's going to land 5 yards in front of him. The defense is doing well. I think I'm concerned. We do have some injuries up front. And both cornerbacks, Gerard McCoy, who's an All-American, then Ricky Gibson, who's a star. Both of them are out for the game. So we have Tyler Redmond, who's starting. He's a true freshman. And then we have Colton Hood, who's a transfer from Colorado. Colton Hood's been playing some good ball. So, but they're going to have a tough matchup again with Zion Branch. And who's the one? Isn't it who's the second receiver you guys have that is starting to make some plays?
Zachariah Blanche from USC is very explosive in the slot. We got Kobe Young, 6'5", kind of tall, and Noah Thomas transfer of Texas A&M. I'd say that's the top three.
Yeah. So that concerns me. Going into this matchup is our cornerbacks and kind of what kind of the defensive philosophy, the defensive game plan that we can put together. But through the first two games, take it with a grain of salt. But we used a lot of different wrinkles. And we've seen it's not your typical Heupel offense, but it seems like we are running a little bit more up tempo, and spread out. But we are running some different formations I haven't seen, and I think a lot of that may have been, to show that against Georgia and maybe run some other, plays out of those formations and so forth.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I want to definitely jump into it. So you guys rolled 72-17 over East Tennessee State, and a familiar name. He's been around a while. Cade McNamara was on their team. I know I think he was at Michigan.
He was at Michigan, and then he went somewhere else, I believe, and then came there. So he's used to. They also had that backup quarterback, Briscoe from North Carolina. Right. So he's played some ball too. So the quarterbacks they'd probably make a couple plays, but again, that's your typical mismatch to sit there and watch it on a Saturday. Those games are painful too. They're fun to watch, but you want to see competitive games.
Yeah. So Joey Aguilar has been very impressive so far. Strong arm. Coming from App State, he's been very impressive. Did want to ask, who's probably your number one running back? Because you looks like a stable of backs, got a bunch of carries, and then also who's maybe the strength of the receivers?
So Star Thomas is our leading rusher, which is surprising. He's a transfer from Duke. I think but that's kind of misleading too. I think Bishop is our best running back, and Peyton Lewis also. I think those are probably your top two. Star Thomas is more of a power back, so to speak, but he's played good in the first two games, but he's played in a lot of mop-up duty too. But I think those are going to be the three, you'll see the most. Wide receiver, Chris Brazell's been playing well, and Staley's been playing well also. Mike Matthews has done well, but still looking for that, breakout game. He was a 5-star coming in to Tennessee and still not had that big game yet. He has the potential. So I do like where the wide receivers are at, but they'll have a good test on Saturday for sure.
So I did want to ask, because you mentioned earlier, and go ahead and get it out of the way. So since everything settled down and he did leave and he struggled at UCLA, ironically, what's the pulse from Knoxville and Vols Nation with the whole Nico thing? And it looks like Joe Aguilar has been a great transition. How's that feel?
It's you never want to wish ill will on anybody. I think that he kind of brought that upon himself, him and his family. The way he handled the transfer after the game, the debacle in Columbus, he had kind of, I think they met prior to that. He was wanting more money, which I think Tennessee did give him a little bit more money. Not showing up at the end of spring practice. That's just, to me, it's a lot of character issues. I think that he just can't read it. He's doing the same things he did. I've seen both of his games, same things he did in UCLA as he did at Tennessee. He's not an accurate passer. He really doesn't go through his progressions. You see him a lot in the second half where, he was hitting a lot of short passes, things like that, but he's just not the quarterback. Now he could, things could change. I think he has a higher ceiling than Joey Aguilar does, but will he ever put two and two together to be the quarterback that he was supposed to be coming out of high school? I don't know that. But as it right now, I would feel better. I feel better going into this game and our SEC schedule with Joey than I do with Nico from the first two games.
Yeah, he's been very impressive, quick release, and seems like has all the tools. So.
Yeah, and another thing people talked about, one of his, Achilles was his interceptions. I think he threw 23 over 2 seasons at App State, most of those coming in his second year at App State. And he's thrown none this year. Heupel's quarterbacks don't throw a lot of interceptions. Yeah. So I think that's shows a lot for Heupel. And also you're noticing, I did go back and watch some of the highlights last night from Tennessee game. He is actually, you can see him going through 1, 2, 3 progressions. You can see his head bobble some, where before even Hendon Hooker was 1, 2 run. A lot of Tennessee's will, you see that hot route, if it's not there, look to take off and run a lot of times. With Joey, you're not seeing that. He is truly going through progressions. He can tuck it and run, but I think from an offensive standpoint, he really understands the offense better than what Nico did, and really Joe Milton.
Yeah, how would you compare him maybe to the last several quarterbacks, Hendon Hooker, Milton, and then how would you compare him to those recently?
Well, definitely not better than Hendon. So, that's a perfect fit for Heupel's offense. But I think anybody we've had from, Joe Milton or Nico, I would take him over. I mean, you got, Joe was a good leader. He had a strong cannon. But I just, he couldn't hit the deep ball either and just had too strong of an arm on intermediate routes and wasn't going to run the ball. We need a quarterback. We did this year. We've done a couple of, design runs for Joey, I would say, or quarterback reads where he's taken the ball you didn't see it in the past. So that is another element that I'm sure Kirby Smart's already taken a look at and made, defense aware of that.
Yeah. Before we get into the big time matchup, I want to give a shout out to our great sponsor, VivaTequilaSeltzer.com. 0 carbs, 0 sugar. Great for the tailgate. Great for a round of golf. They've been a great sponsor. My personal favorite is the watermelon. And if you can get the popular coconut flavor for Doghouse 20% off. You can get Doghouse 20% off. Also check them out on VivaTequilaSeltzer.com, and their YouTube page is growing as well. Also want to mention, do have a potential other partnership that we're going to have coming up. It's a big, huge wood flag company. I'll have to talk more about it, but I had a great conversation. Might be adding another sponsor, which is cool. And they focus on collegiate schools and fraternities and sororities. But yeah, that'll be something that we'll have coming up. So that's exciting as well. And big time matchup. It's going to be game day, which I'll say as a Georgia fan, I didn't want to hear that. More eyes on, but it's going to be Georgia goes to Knoxville. Always hard place to play. Place is going to be rocking. And I know you mentioned it earlier. This originally started at 6.5 or 7, and it's dropped to 3.5. So as we know, as the money flows, that's where the game goes. And you guys are even have 51.5% over 48. So we are nervous as Georgia fans, but I don't know if this is bulletin board material, the doubt. But I would say quarterback-wise, you definitely have the advantage. Joey Aguilera over Gunnar Stockton probably have the just overall offense. And we have questions at O-line. We're banged up, even though from the grapevine, Ernest Green, our left tackle, potentially a lot better chance of playing than everybody was bummed about the Juan Gaston. I mean, he's 6'7", 350. It's either a knee or an ankle, but I doubt he plays, even though they're trying to push him. But we played 10 guys last week on the O-line, and, we're going to try to run the ball. That was a big emphasis. So, and I know Tennessee's always known as a, spread it out team, but they're a run-heavy team. So I think this is going to come down to the old who commits more turnovers and who can run the ball more with more yards. But what's your thoughts on the game? Tony, how you feeling?
So we're going opposite on it. We have actually run the ball pretty good against you guys. I think 3 out of the 4 games we rushed the ball for more than 150 yards, which Heupel's record is pretty solid when we can run over 150 yards. The problem with our offense is the passing. We've only passed for over 200 yards one game in the last 4 years since Heupel's been there, and that was the first year when Hendon was quarterback. The next year in 2022, when we were, I think we were ranked number 1 going into that game, right? Yeah, I believe so. Hendon passed for 194 yards. Turnovers in the last 4 years, we've had 5. You guys have had 3, but the games were so lopsided. I think that the biggest my keys to the game, I believe, are not even the running game, because I think both teams will run the ball okay. It's if we can, if Gunnar can hit some plays, some deep shots, some explosive plays, I think that's going to change the dynamics. I'm okay actually with him dinking and dunking us a little bit, and not letting the explosive plays and kind of putting the game in his hands. So I do want us to stop the run. I don't want to come out and see Heupel playing press man against the wide receivers. I don't think he will with the youth we have, but we'll definitely have to scheme it up, and we have to get pressure on him with our down four. And we've got some banged up people on the defensive line. Offensively, David Sanders, who is our 5-star top recruit from last year, he's still, what I hear, how they are with injury reports, you really don't know. And we still don't know what really happened to him right on from he was supposed to play and then got banged up the first week of practice. But our offensive line has played well. But again, they're going to see looks and pressures and schemes from Kirby they hadn't seen yet. And that concerns me with the whole team.
Yeah, definitely hearing on all that. And then how do you feel about coming into – I know we've been an Achilles heel for you guys, winning 8 straight and holding you guys to 17 or less. Well, how are you feeling coming in this compared to the other seasons? Any optimism more than usual? What's the pulse? Because we're nervous over here, to be honest. Nobody's shooting their mouth off.
I think at this point in the season and the competition that we both played, I think we really don't – at this point, really don't know what we have. I mean, I think the first 2 games for both of us are actually kind of like scrimmage practice games, and this one you're really going to see what you got. I think that with myself and my pulse at the beginning of the year, I chalked this down as a loss on how we would finish the season. I didn't give us a chance to win it, but I do give us a chance now. I think that you guys have some things to fix. I think you're doing some things well, but have some question marks, which is you're not used to that. I think Georgia fans have gotten a little spoiled too, and rightfully so. Being coming out and seasons dominating from the get-go. But I think that it's going to be a good game. I feel good about our chances to play in the game, but the outcome not so sure about as years in the past.
All right, Tony. So we're going to put you on the Budweiser hot seat as usual. It's 3.5 points. What's your score prediction for the big Georgia versus Tennessee? I wanted something else I heard. This is the earliest since 1995 or 6 they've actually played. Mike Griffith reported that earlier. I thought that was interesting. You guys put up a lot of numbers and it's hard to adjust later in the season. So we usually play you guys. I didn't know that. That was interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, that was interesting. 2016, it was the day game, I believe, because we wore the gray uniforms that year.
That's right. Speaking of that, any jersey changes?
I don't know yet. I mean, I'm not too big fan of our smoky gray this year. I hope we don't pull those up Saturday. I kind of want to see the traditional orange versus your white and grays like it used to be. Our classics versus you guys. So we'll see. I think the atmosphere is going to be great too.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, game day, the crowd's going to be loud. So I think that's going to play in some factor too. But game predictions on it. Like I said, if you would ask me at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't have said this. I think it's going to be close, but I still think Georgia's going to pull it out. And my reasoning is we don't know much about the teams to this point, in my opinion. I watch a lot of Tennessee football, and the teams we played, like I said, it's just, take it with a grain of salt. But I have to go back and look at how we've played against Kirby's defenses. He's still got talent there. He still knows how to confuse a quarterback and get him to throw the ball where he wants him to throw it. And we've only averaged 12.5 points per game in 4 years against you guys. So I'm going to bump them up to 17, and I think it'll be close until you guys get a late score and win like 20. I say 28-17. So I may change my mind with my emotions as the week goes along, but I just don't see us. I just don't see Joey coming out his first start against a Kirby Smart defense, or his first big collegiate start against a Kirby Smart defense and winning the game. But, hey, the kid's a gamer, man. So what I've seen so far and how he's played before, so we'll see.
Hope Tennessee Tony isn't trying to switch the juju and a swerve, as they say, 28-17. I'll take that, though. Yeah, mine.
Well, hey, if you remember, if in 2022 I sat on the show, we had some other people on here at that time, but I predicted a big Tennessee win in Athens, when we went down there and passed the ball for 194 yards that day. So it's that was the big phone call to Stetson Bennett game. So but I picked them then. So maybe the reverse of me picking Georgia.
That's right. Yeah, I'm gonna go how I feel. Of course, I'm always a little on the Larry Munson side and everything. I do trust Kirby with his history against Heupel. I think this defense is better than last year. It's not 2021 or 2022. I think we'll never see that. They're definitely athletic. That's the strong point. But I haven't, after last week, left a bad taste. I'm just not sold on Gunner. I do know that Kirby's loyal to him. But I mean, you're not going to put Ryan Puglisi in on the road in this environment. So you might just see a very safe, conservative run the ball and dinking and dunking, but you got to take some shots. And when I heard that stat from last week, I didn't even realize it, that supposedly with our loaded tight end room, first time since 2019, they didn't catch a pass. You have all this talent over there. Oscar Delp, Lawson Lucky, you got Elias Williams, who's 6'6", freaky freak. I know the kid, Babor, rolled his ankle really bad, gruesome injury. So got to go to them. Oscar Delp caught 2 touchdowns out of nowhere last week and really broke up in that game. So I think you got to go to the tight end. And you got to take some shots with Colby Young. Zachariah Branch is a mismatch. You got to have more of this. And you can't just do bubble screens, dink and dunk. And you got to let him go through his progressions, because that's what everybody was getting on Gunner about. So you got to be aggressive on that. And they're going to try to establish the run. But I'm going to go more of a rock fight. I'm going to go like 24-23. It might come down to even special teams, and if we can run the ball and less turnovers. We do have good special teams. Peyton Woodring is maybe all SEC. And we do have Thorson. I'm surprised came in and kicked some last week. He's really good coming off that knee injury. But I'm going to go 24-21. Late touchdown, hopefully win this. But this is going to be closer than usual, just because I don't feel good at all about Gunner. But I like Kirby just with that defense and him with his pass coming into Knoxville. But we got to somehow try to get the crowd out, because if you guys get rocking, man, and we hear Rocky Top, as you know, that's a bad sign. We could be in trouble.
Yeah, a big start's going to be big, I think, for Gunner, because if he gets the crowd into it, that could play into it. I am worried about the tight ends for sure. So that I was going to bring up my point. Tight ends have wreaked havoc against us. So you're going to have our safeties going to have to come in a lot with that. Our linebackers playing in coverage too. That's why we have to get pressure with our down forward.
Also, and I think you guys have scored first in 5 straight games. So if Georgia fans, hey, if they score first, just gotta calm down. We'll be all right, Yeah, real quick, I know we all love seeing Sunbelt Billy lose last week to Florida, losing South Florida. So what's your thoughts on Billy Napier? And is this the year where they give him the walking papers, or how much longer do you think he's got there?
Well, first of all, you got to give credit to Alex Golish, who is our offensive coordinator under Heupel until he left in 2023, and offensive hasn't looked the same. He's a great coach, but as far as Billy goes, man, he won't be coaching against us in November. So he's, I had that game down as a loss too. The beginning of the season, I had us 8-4 with the ceiling being 9-3. If we can, avoid that one game every year that Heupel seems to lose that we shouldn't. But I predicted us to lose against you guys, Alabama, and then at Florida. But now, the way Alabama's playing, I don't feel as bad about that game now. And Florida, I don't either. So, but a lot of football to be played. Everybody's got to stay healthy. But he is, he's it's not good down there for sure. But you got to give Golish and South Florida credit, because they played a good game.
They did, man. They're a scrappy team. Blew out Boise State, and then came back, beat them.
They have another top 25 game this week. I completely forgot who that was.
They got Miami.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that'll be a good one. So I think, if they can win that game, man, they can make some noise this year.
Yeah, I don't bet too much, but that was actually one I was going to bring up. I think it's like Miami and my boy Carson Beck. Don't get me started on that. 17.5 against South Florida. I actually like South Florida.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I look at I've been looking a little bit, but I'll place my bets on Friday night, Saturday morning. But I definitely saw that one. That's definitely one I'd go with South Florida on for sure.
And another one that I like too, if he plays, make sure if Haynes King plays, I like Georgia Tech plus 9.5 against Clemson. They're scrappy, man. And they looked pretty good last week with backup quarterback. I like that. And Clemson's got some issues, man. They can't run the ball.
I think Georgia Tech, man, I think Georgia Tech may give Clemson more than they want. So I was looking at that one too. That spread's high. I definitely would go Georgia Tech on that too, because it's in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, it is. It's at Bobby.
Yeah, so definitely take Clemson with that spread. I mean, take Georgia Tech with that spread for sure. But I think they can even pull the upset.
Yeah, especially if keep your eyes on if Haynes King plays. They might have set him out last week. He's scrappy, man. He gave Georgia all kind of problems last year.
Yeah,
Another one is, how about Florida? Speaking of them going to Death Valley, even though LSU struggled a little bit last week, you like that one? Florida having some issues. I know that's a big rivalry for them.
Yeah, it's going to be another L for Florida, no doubt.
7.5.
Yeah.
Another interesting is Texas A&M at Notre Dame. Notre Dame favored by 6.5. That one's interesting. Also, Notre Dame didn't play last week. They've only played once. That was kind of weird. I don't know if they had like a bye or something.
Yeah, they did. So yeah, that one, that was a tough one because you haven't seen a lot of Notre Dame yet. A&M looks decent, so that one is going to be a harder one to determine. It is. I think if I had to go, that I'd probably go with A&M right now. But
I think I'd go A&M on the points.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It should be a great slate of games, and we'll know either way on our end at about 7:00.
Yeah,
I got to watch it at. I'm gonna watch it in Nashville bachelor party, man. It's gonna be 2:30 kick there. It's gonna be weird. 2:30.
Yeah. Obviously,
last week we played 2:30 because of the rain delay. That was weird. Or the rain change.
Oh yeah. You never know about that. I haven't even looked at what the weather looks like this weekend yet, but
I think it's gonna be in Nashville. It's gonna be nice. I don't. How far is? I should know that. How far is Nashville?
Nashville is probably about. I guess about. See, here's 4. So it's about 3 hours from.
Okay, cool.
So 3 hours or so.
Yeah, man. All right, well, Tony, we appreciate you coming on again. Any way we can follow you on social media?
Yeah. Tone _ TONE _ LOC _. That's it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Yeah, follow Tony on there. He posts some good stuff. Over 1,100 followers.
Yep.
He's also on Facebook too.
Yep, Tony Butler on Facebook.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you coming on. I hope it's a good game, as always. And we've been doing this for years. We always have a good, man. We'll text each other. It's always been fun, man. It's not, we don't rub it in.
Yeah.
That's why you don't hear me trash talk anything after, because people got receipts, and I know it's coming eventually. That's the way I take it. So I don't want to dig it in.
Yeah,
I dig it in on Ohio State or a Bama fan though.
Man, yeah, it's it's been a lot of runs with you guys in Alabama, Florida over the past few years. That's been our Achilles tendon or Achilles heel, so to speak. But let's see if we change the momentum. Tell Georgia fans, get ready to hear Rocky Top a bunch, and some loud Tennessee fans, man.
That's right. I will say this, I never want to lose, but if I had to lose one, if we lost a close one here, but we beat Alabama and maybe go 10-2, that was my pick early in years. Hey, go 10-2 and then try to make the playoffs. I'd be happy, because I just think one of these, this or Auburn was one of the ones I circled, and then just if we can just beat Alabama and then maybe that Texas game. But mine was 10-2. And if you give me 10-2 this year and just see what happens in playoffs, I'd be happy. That's kind of where I was looking at.
No, I'd take that, man. I'd take it. I think, if we can win with you guys, I think, 9-3, possibly a 10-2 is looking good for us too. I'd love to make it back to the playoffs this year for sure. Just not Columbus for the first game. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, appreciate it again, Tony, for coming on. If you're still around, make sure to like, subscribe, share the Doghouse podcast. Got some good stuff coming on. Hopefully it's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it again.
Yep. Thanks for having me on. Have a good one. Go Vols.